Recently I posted a video of me pressing this juice. Since then I hit it with K-Meta to kill all of the bacteria and natural yeast that was in it. And then 24 hours later I pitched some new yeast, some cider yeast, into some juice itself with a little bit of nutrient, and then I threw all of that in there. And this is where we're at probably 2 or 3 days later. So we've got a little bit of krausen right there. It's that initial bubbling that usually bubbles up. With EC 1118, typically it bubbles up and out of the airlock, which is why I have this overflow airlock here. But it was pretty mild with this stuff. And if we get the flash on, if we get up really, really close, or if we just zoom in, we can see that that is a super active fermentation. But I've been a little bit concerned about this. Despite the really active fermentation, we are getting zero movement in the airlock. So I thought, maybe this just isn't tight enough, but even when I tighten it down, there's no movement, which doesn't make sense because it's going kind of crazy right now. And like usual, when I walk into this room, it smells like something is fermenting. So by using our skills of deduction and basic troubleshooting steps, we can look at the 3 variables here. Now, I don't think there's going to be a hole in the glass, which means there's probably not a good seal here or here. Now we can test this by swapping these parts out one by one and seeing where we're getting the failure. And hey, what do you know? This is at fault. So somehow, some way, whether it's the threads on the inside or this hole in the middle, we are not getting a good seal. At least not good like with this synthetic cork. Now at this stage in the fermentation, it's not really that big of a deal because there's so much CO2 that's being generated that this is just full of CO2. So I'm not worried about oxygen or other stuff getting in there because it's just obviously blowing everything out. But for something that I'm aging, like this or this, I'm gonna want to be really careful and make sure this is totally and completely sealed. Otherwise, we could end up with infections or too much oxidization or just all sorts of stuff we don't want in our cider. So, lesson learned. This is probably not to be used outside of the initial fermentation that's pretty vigorous like this. And it's probably just better to stick to something like this anyway. And most importantly, check your equipment to make sure that it's functioning correctly.